sunrise, sunset.
Sunrise,
it's a different
sunset.
one. But I love the way they organize the colors.
Isn't it beautiful?
They really are a wonderful company.
I think I
and
got the Maggie Price.
Maggie Price. So yes, they will often get like teachers to like sort of identify sets, pick their colors that they like. They're really great. And what's kind of neat about them is they're expensive, but boy,
oh man,
you're supporting. You really get this is a company where you're like, okay, I'm getting a quality product. I know the people who are making it.
Yep.
It's not like a big company. It's just a few people all just rolling their little hand pastels with all the things that you make pastels out of. So they're pretty neat. I've been talking to, I may talk to other people. This pastel class is going to go on all year. So it might be a good investment for you to think about the pastels that way. And you can always communicate with Marie and send her, if you're thinking of buying something, send it to her and ask her what she thinks.
Yeah, please do.
A good like quality set. She'll take a look and tell you. She'll figure it out. We'll do the research. So
also over the weekend, I didn't put this on the list, but I've had it for a while and I showed Leah, but it's this pastel paper. There's no sand to it. I think it's just like, I don't know how I got it or where I got it, but I decided to use the clear gesso over it to try to see what it would do. And it actually turned out wonderful. It's already toned paper and I just did the clear gesso, let it dry for maybe like 10 minutes and it's all sanded. It's ready to go.
So
one other tip that I discovered this week is Terry Lugwood on his website sells individual sticks. So if there's just a couple colors that you want and you want really luxurious ones, you can buy just one or two sticks.
Good
he does
point,
amazing.
Janet.
His darks are really amazing. It's worth it to go in just for the darks. There's like a burgundies and so
this is watercolor paper and I took acrylic fluid paint and I mixed some, I think it was quinacridone magenta and some white, and I painted my watercolor paper and then I covered it in the clear gesso. Turned out awesome. Sanded paper.
The reason the clear gesso is important, you guys, is that it smooths out the surface so that there's no bumps. You know, if you've noticed, if you're using like any paper that's, kind of heavy and thick, it often has little bumps on it. So if you want to get rid of those bumps, but still have the color that's on the base or the texture, you put the gesso on and then you've got a smooth surface.
Yeah, and it's that gesso has a grit in it. It's I actually had my son, I'm like, feel the UArt and feel this. Like, I didn't tell him what's what. I go, does this feel the same? And he's like, why are you having me do this, Mom?
How old is he?
My son, 18.
I just wanted to say I'm checking and we have this in Poland. So
wonderful.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Good. So honestly, it's going to save you so much if you can do that, because UArt can be so expensive, especially when you're practicing. You want, just like I said, watercolor paper I don't even know, someone gave this to me and I don't even do watercolor. Maybe Lee would even, it's cold press, 11 by 15.
So that's going to be fairly bumpy. And what's the poundage? It's 140.
It's 140.
Yeah, so it's kind of still fairly thin, but like thick enough to support the
gesso. I just painted it with the acrylic paint and then let it dry and then did clear gesso over it and it was sanded paper. So definitely, you guys, I highly recommend while you're starting out. I would go more with buying some good pastels if you had to choose between the paper and the pastel. So hopefully that will help. And then the other piece is that we kind of decided for the year on subjects. So that kind of would, I think, help build on what we're learning for each month. So February, we're going to continue with snow. And then March, we're going to go into sunsets and sunrises, which, I have a new set to try out. So why not, right? And then April, we're going to do some marshes, streams, reflections.
Oh, great.
And then in May, we're going to do some waves, oceans and waves. We're going to send this list out to everyone too, just so you have it. But June, we're going to do some fun beach scenes with grasses and dunes, and it'll be really cool. July, we're going to do mountain scenes. August is going to be structures. So we're thinking like landscapes with maybe fences or some type of structure like a barn, something to do with hay bales, something like that. September, rocks, rocky landscapes. So that's going to be fun. October, of course, it's autumn. So we're going to do some autumn landscape scenes with all sorts of different fun fall colors. November is going to be clouds, skies. So we're going to learn how to really work with our fluffy little clouds. And December, we decided it's going to be your choice. So students' choice. You guys get to decide what we would like to do. So I think it will be great. Collect some of your pictures along the year, and then we can maybe see, vote and see what we want to do.
This is a landscape class. So
there can be some animals in the landscape.
There absolutely can. Absolutely. I know. Yeah. But remember, we'll definitely be doing animals in the other classes. But like this is, everything has to be, I want everything to be landscape based in this class. So you guys, by the end of the year, will have a lot of experience bringing in all the different elements. That's what we did is we were like, okay, what are the different kinds of landscapes so that you can have practice, and then just doing it 1 week doesn't really give you the grounding. So we tried to find themes so that you'll practice for the month, you know, building upon your skills. Hi, kids. Hi, kitty.
Oh,
it's Ink. So anyway, for those of you who are late, if you do see Jessica Pryor, she is actually in St. Patrick's Church in Manhattan. Cathedral, St. Patrick's Cathedral, and she's painting today. So at some point, she's going to show us what she's working on. She's really been on fire with these church paintings lately. So wait till you'll see it. All right, beautiful. Marie, go ahead. I'm gonna mute myself, and you're spotlighted, so you can go ahead and start.
Okay. All right, guys. I'm super fun about today's picture. One thing that drew me to this was the light. And when we're looking at snow, I think it's so pretty with the reflections of the trees. And I think we can have fun with bringing out some different colors within the blues and snow. And so I kind of wanted to go back to just a little bit of the basics. I do encourage doing the thumbnails, as Sandra pointed out. What was that tone paper about? That's really what I want you to do if you can. It really teaches you to minimize and get away from the detail and just look at the structure of the painting. And not only that, it gives you a really good idea whether it's going to work or not compositionally. So first thing I did on here is, one, we addressed the composition. I think it works well. We've got directional of the shadows, and I can switch the camera here so you can see what I'm pointing at a little better. And let me know if you can't see it very well. Whoop, somehow it just went off. Let's see, that's better. So we got the direction, drawing our eye, right? And then we've got the trees, and then we've got the branches coming here. So again, just thinking about composition, leading our eye into the painting. And then the second thing I was thinking about blocking in, and what do we do with underpainting? So in the color version of this picture, it's a warm day. I mean, we have the sun. We can see, this is a black and white photo for our underpainting piece, but right in here, you can see that light shining through the trees and that glow behind. And I want to capture that warmth. So I was thinking, well, how do I do that? We've got a lot of orange and green, yellow and blue. And so I was thinking maybe of doing the shadow pieces in maybe like a pinky color, and then the warmer colors in an orange, maybe even some warm pinks in here. And I think on the underpainting, when we lay those blues, it's going to be really vibrant, and I think it will pull it out really nicely. So just kind of was going through my mind about doing this. So for today, I haven't painted this, so this is going to be, you know, I'm winging it too a little bit in terms of what colors I want, but I'm going to show you what I pulled out for the underpainting, and we're going to start. So I'm on UArt 400, and we'll sketch this out. I have a new pastel, and it's in kind of a dark pinky color. And I'm going to just sketch the trees and lay out a little bit of where we have these shadow areas. And then I'll come in and I'm going to take a picture for you of the colors that I have here that I'm thinking about using. Take this out for the underpainting. So I've got some warmer pinks into the orange, and then this cooler pink for the trees and the shadows. So go ahead and pull out some of these colors if you haven't already. I'm using hard pastel and semi-hard. So this is a Rembrandt that's on that list, and they're kind of nice for the underpaintings, and I'll take a picture of it, a close-up. So this is what I'm gonna start off with. Let me pull up my picture here. Okay. So I did send you a picture with the grid. So it's really good when you have something structure like this to make sure you're getting the proportions right. The angles of the shadows and even the angles of the trees. And we know this large tree is in front. So when I'm thinking underpainting, it's going to be probably more of a saturated color. It's going to be darker because it's in the forward in the front. And then I want to push these trees back. So it's going to be a little bit lighter in value, but cooler because it is in the back. So I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to sketch in here. Let's see. So just going to get my horizon line in. Very light. I'm just using the very edge of my pastel lightly, coming up for the tree. Just indicating where it's at. Let's see. Just kind of, the new pastels are nice because you can use that square edge and see how it can create these little broken edges. It almost looks like a tree. And I love that about these. So again, you guys can follow along or watch and then do it. I like how this tree kind of splits and a 2. And let's see, let's get our big tree. And doesn't have to be exact. We're just got another one right in here. Okay. Just kind of indicating where these shadowed areas are. I'm almost even looking at the negative shapes of these, right? Kind of looking at the whites of those shapes too. So you have these, just breaking it into simple shapes. Let's actually just leave it. Okay. This is just the other pink stick. And I'm going to come in with that orange. Warm it up. And this is going to be right into the snow area. And just kind of reestablishing here before I come in. Okay. I think that's good. Go ahead and send over if you've done this already here.
By the way, guys, I'm not feeling well, so I'm not doing it. I'm just drawing
Watching.
lines. I've got low-grade fever, so I'm cold, buried under
Are
my
you?
blanket.
Oh no.
That's okay. It always happens on Sundays when the steroids crash out of my body and I'm left with chemo.
Oh, so that is dependent on when you get your.
I always get it on Thursdays, and they
And
pump
then
you
it,
full of steroids because it mitigates bad effects like nausea.
okay.
But when we leave your body, then you're left with, you just feel really, really tired.
Oh,
So sorry about this.
well, good job showing up, Sandra. That's important.
Yes, I think I might learn something, just keeping an eye and
Yeah,
just
and
drawing.
it's nice to keep your mind off things too. That's what I want here, is just to have a moment to have a break, right?
Right.
It's just crazy. And here in Oregon, so we get snow like in the mountains, but we're getting a huge storm. We have had a huge dumping of snow here, which we normally don't get. And now they're calling a big ice storm. So hopefully Leah won't get hit with that. She's a little bit more interior Portland than I am.
It fucking sucks.
That's exactly what we have in Washington. We have an ice storm.
Yeah, it's weird. I had a
It's
friend.
just finishing now, but it's very slippery and cold and icy.
Oh yeah, I mean, we have over a foot of snow, and if anyone knows about Oregon, that's usually like in the hills. It's not down here, and we have a huge Columbia River Gorge that comes and feeds into the ocean, and that's where our wind, and it's coming down that gorge right now, pretty crazily. I mean, we've got up to 2 inches of ice they're calling for this afternoon. And
It's
Leah,
really...
you may get that more.
Seems to be.
The only thing I liked about this ice storm is last night when it was night, I suddenly looked at my trees outside and they looked like they had lights in because they reflected all the lights.
Oh, that sounds
gorgeous.
That sounds beautiful.
And Sandra, you have such a beautiful garden.
Nice,
I tried to take a picture, but it didn't do it justice.
Nice, Janet. Very nice, Claudia. This is fun. This is like the fun experimentation of our underpainting, is that we get to see how the colors are going to lay on top of these, right?
And Marie's like, I have no idea.
Sorta. I have in my mind, but see, this is what Leah has done for me, because Sandra, I see myself a lot in you. Like, I like to have an idea and know exactly and like detail and everything. And what I have learned is Leah's really worked on me, and I know it works, Sandra. So you got to trust this because it's worked on me.
Embrace the chaos.
You have to, yeah, well, and experiment. And when it feels really, really awkward and weird, that's the best. So all I can say is Leah's like, okay, I want you to, like, she'll say, glaze it this color. I'm like, oh God, really? And she's like, trust me. And I'm like, okay. And I know there was other students, remember, Leah, in class, and they would be like, no, I'm not doing that. It's going to ruin it. And I'm like, no. So,
well, the truth is, you guys, here's the secret. I don't know if it's going to work either. But what I do know is that if it doesn't work, I know how to fix it.
Yep.
So that's what I'm trying to teach you. And that's why, and that's the only reason I said Marie doesn't know what's going to happen, because I'm really pushing her. All of our teachers, we are trying to give you subjects that are new for us so that we can you can sort of problem solve with us.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a little bit of the chaos, that which I think is constantly introducing chaos and unknown. In yesterday's beginning drawing class, we had a new student who was just so freaked out. She was like, every 5 minutes, she was like, I'm scared. I'm freaking out. I'm scared. I'm like, oh yeah, like I keep forgetting that new process of not really knowing what the end result is going to be, right? So the process feels totally different. So yeah, I try to I could tell you the process, what'll be the end result, but I think it's almost better, that feeling of just self-discovery of learning it. So anyway, we're trying to recreate chaos all the time here.
But there's some medium which it works better than others in terms of fixing it if it doesn't work.
Believe me, I've been doing this 20 years. There's nothing that can't be fixed.
I mean, like watercolors are difficult
watercolor
to fix,
is, well, yes. So there's certain things that you don't do in watercolor. So those are the things you internalize, which is, there's a couple of rules, right, with everything that you internalize with. One of those things is you learn the limits of your medium. Yeah, you learn what your medium can do, but almost everything is fixable. That's true. Some things are not fixable in watercolor, but they're also, we try to steer you, we try to give you a process that includes that fixing. For example, drawing the outer shape of something before you try to draw the inner shapes is a big example of learning how to draw. You start with the outer shapes, it doesn't look very good, but when you get to then you realize, oh, I don't have to get this shape right away. It's easier for me to fix this shape than it is if I try to go right to the most detailed area and start drawing there.
Yeah.
So it's more like we're teaching you process. That's the process we're teaching. So anyway.
And it is true. It's the process, and you guys, like, I think it's important for you to see me struggle too and wonder, what should I do? How am I going to approach this? Because you're always learning. I'm a student still too. So, but this, I just know that I want some really bright colors, and I just know that these colors are going to start us out on a really good foundation, and then we can kind of build from there. So, this is the fun part. So I think everyone's done really well with their underpainting. I think you guys, it looks good.
I just have a question about the paper again, because last time I have a problem with the paper, and now I actually don't know which side is better, because there's like, there are two. And for example, one is smooth, and another side, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. But it's
what paper is it, Anya?
Just called pastel paper.
Is it what I showed you in that picture? Take a picture of the front of it. Do you have it in a pad? Did it come in a pad?
Yeah, I have it, but I don't think it's such a famous brand.
Oh no, that's okay. At least I can see what you have, and then I can give you an idea.
Yeah, it just, because I'm just not sure which sides I should use, and yeah, so last time it really didn't work. Yeah.
And maybe Leah can answer this for me, because I'm not as familiar, but for you guys ordering overseas for your supplies, are you going to like the Amazon UK site, or do you go to like Jerry's?
They have something in Poland called Allegro, so it's a totally different thing. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that so much, Anya. Okay. If it's bumpy, you probably want the smoother side. That's going to be my recommendation.
Yeah, because I tried the bumpy side last time.
So honey, you've answered your own. And what I want to point out is you've answered your own question. You tried one side. Now you're going to try the other side and see if it works, right? If you don't like the bumpy side, turn it over and try the other side. Feel confident to muck with this. My feeling on pastel papers is the ones that have the tooth, the bumpiness, I don't really like them very much. It's unfortunate that lots of people sell them as pastel paper, because it's not my favorite. I like a rough surface, but one that feels more like sandpaper than the bumps. I think the bumps are too big. But anyway, yeah, like you got it. Let's see how the smooth side goes. And maybe you can buy some.
I asked a question about the sandpaper. So
yeah.
I'm using the sandpaper, and I've noticed that after I fix it, when I'm all done with my drawing, like parts of it look speckly, like almost like, I can't decide if I like it or don't like it, because it's the underpainting coming through, but sometimes it looks like, I don't know, it looks wrong, like it looks speckly.
If it's underpaint, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, are you using UArt paper?
Yeah.
Okay, and when you fix it, are you fixing it with the Blair or
I'm fixing it with hairspray? Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, so that's probably 100% the problem. This bottle is not expensive. I I use it. There's also a different type of archival spray. I can get you the name of it. It's way more expensive, and I know like I mean, you can do it. Krylon has a really nice fixative, art fixative. But I would probably get online. You can get it at Amazon. I think it's whatever's in my list. I mean, I want to say it's like $7.
Is it safe to spray that inside?
It's Blair very low odor spray, and it's workable fixative.
Okay.
Yes, it is safe to. Yes, it is safe to spray inside. I mean,
You can. I open my window.
Yeah, open
you
your
can-
window, but you can still spray it. I spray with that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
It will
Inside.
catch.
So, and one tip with the fixative, Janet, too, is it will change the value a little bit of your pastels. I think I did talk about it. It will darken them, and they're really nice. It's nice to use actually in the foreground of your painting if you're doing grasses. But don't hold it too close because you will get like spots, you know, just like you're spray painting. So just lightly spray it.
Okay.
Yeah. So good question. I know there's a lot of little things that you start realizing with the pastels. Okay, let's get into the underpainting. So I've got my rubbing alcohol, and I'm gonna switch camera. And okay. I'm just doing light orange areas here. I'm not really worried about any drips. Okay. I'm kind of wiggling my fan brush because I know that this sand has texture. The snow actually does have texture in it. And start on the tree here. Maybe bring out some of the, indicate some branches. This is a great part about the pastel is when we wet it, it just turns into paint. Essentially. fan brush is kind of nice too because you can get some texture with it and movement. Oh, Molly's saying hi to everyone. She is loving the snow.
Oh, that's great.
She is. She's just, we took her out in the Jeep yesterday.
Is it the first time seeing snow?
Pretty much, yeah. We had a little bit here recently and just like a dusting, and she was like, ooh, this is fun. But now she goes out and literally grabs, she rolls the snow with her nose into like snowballs, and then she brings them into the house.
Whoops.
She's the funniest dog. I'm just kind of. Yeah, it is fun because we just don't ever get this type of snow. Doesn't happen very often. Okay. How's the color, Leah? Is it still kind of funky? It's kind of like a washed out. So I think once I'll let it dry, we'll come back in and reestablish those darks where the trees are and kind of get a little bit more of the shadow. So in thinking about that, we're going to kind of think about local color. So what does local color means? It means looking at that actual picture in color and picking out some sticks here, pastel sticks that we can look at using. And I think with the brighter, lighter colors, I might lay those chartreusey greens down first and some lighter, maybe purplies or yellows back in here a little bit. And then layer on top because the light is kind of shining behind this and kind of glowing. And so we know that in the front, these trees are going to be cooler because the sun is behind those trees, shining through and being filtered through. So I do have a range of pastels that I kind of picked out here. And trust me, it's a lot. I may not use all of them, but I thought it would be a good idea to kind of give you an idea of, and I may use different ones. I don't know. Some look similar to the others. And I'll see here, whoops, if I can turn it. And I'll send it to you in black and white. It's kind of cool to see it. So it's interesting. This is a trick I do to like test my ideas about values and see where their lights and darks are. And so this is always good to think about where your lights and your darks, going back to your value scale, and what we're pulling out and looking at. So in the upper like left part of the picture, these are kind of my tree colors that I'm thinking about. I'll take a picture of them. But they may change. Dark greens and some purples, browns. How's everyone doing? Everyone's quiet today. That's really nice, Janet. Very nice. Guys, good job.
Actually, Marie, I have a quick question. Before you posted a picture of this Canson Me tent paper.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know whether that was an example of paper you used with gesso.
I did. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Just so because I'm using those, but I don't find them particularly good with wet underpainting, and I also have this other pastel mat, which I've read online that I shouldn't actually use a wet underpainting because they could get ruined, like the tooth could get ruined.
The pastel mat you can.
Oh yeah? Okay. So yeah, but sometimes I'm looking up stuff online and some people just said that it might actually ruin the tooth of the paper. So
I'll show you. So I just did a pastel matte underpainting. I'll show you, and it's fine. I used alcohol wash on it.
Okay. Oh yeah, it looks fine actually.
And
right.
So pastel matte kind of has like this shiny back. It's almost like thicker paper. And so yeah, you're fine using any type of mineral spirits or alcohol wash. Pastel matte is expensive, but here's the thing with pastel matte that I like versus UArt is it's a softer grit, and so it's almost like a velvety touch, right? So you learn how to lightly use your pastels, and I find that has really forced me to not be heavy-handed with my pastel, especially with those soft ones, like Sandra was saying, those Terry Ludwig. They're very soft and buttery, even like the unisons, and they can just fill that tooth real fast. Yeah. Also with pastel matte, when I try not to blend with my finger too much, and pastel matte really doesn't let you blend. So if you find yourself, not very well.
I blend all the time with my fingers.
Yeah, like the UArt, I can move around and blend a lot easier. With the pastel matte, it takes a little bit. I can't move it as much, which really you don't want to blend with your finger with the pastels too much anyways, because you remember these pastels have those really bright, pretty crystals, those colored crystals in it. That's what makes it bright and shiny and shimmery. So we want to be careful with that. But take that Canson paper, Linda, and then use that clear. Can you get that clear gesso?
Yeah, we actually that brand. It's like we find it very easily in Poland for any kind of art supplies. I also have the spray of the same brand, so I've seen it around. So
okay, so the only thing that you wouldn't be able to do is like the underpainting portion of like what I'm showing. If you do use that homemade paper, the only way you would be able to do that is doing like a watercolor or acrylic underneath. Then that would need to dry and then paint the clear gesso over.
Okay.
So for my class, if you can't get the UArt or pastel matte, or something that can take alcohol wash, then just use a toned sheet of that paper, which is like this, and just use that.
Okay, yeah, I have pastel matte. I just thought somehow, that I couldn't actually do wet underpainting. So
yeah,
great.
you can just blend like for an underpainting with a foam or your finger or something, just to if you needed to. But
great,
yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, good
Thank
question.
you so much.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That'd be cool. Very nice, Jeannie. Yep. You might need a couple more. Jeannie, do you have a little more of like a blue, like a ultramarine blue? I guess you have one in your new pastel stick. That should be fine. I was thinking for the shadows. Okay. So mine's pretty much dried now, so I'll switch here. Oops, wrong one. Okay. I'm gonna come back in with my new pastel and just get my bearings here. This is a navy blue new pastel. Blue spruce, I think, is the actual name of it. I'm just kind of coming into the tree here. If you don't have a dark blue, that's okay. You can come in with a brown, a dark brown. What I'm really looking at here is where the light source, right? The light source is coming from the right side. And I can see like there's some light kind of popping up behind this tree, which is kind of pushing this more into the shadow. So I'm just kind of paying attention to the darker edges. Value wise, I'll just let's see. Okay, so I like how this tree here splits into two. Okay. Let's see. This is a purple new pastel. Take a picture of it. This is a kind of a cooler. Just kind of wanting to very light touch just on these distant trees here. Okay. Let's get some of this light green. I'm talking about this light color here. Scumble a little bit of this here. Kind of down in between the trees, just light touch. I'll stop here and take a picture. I know it's very bright, but we're going to come back and come over it and kind of tone it down. So let's see here. I feel like I need to get some of this snow down here. Some shadow. This is a blue soft pastel. I'm just lightly coming over. Kind of looking at where these shadows are. Using just light touch on the side. Thinking about the contours of the snow, we see that this is kind of drifting here, and then we see this as a bank coming down. So we want to take our pastel and follow that that pattern down the bank. So I'm holding the pastel on its side and just kind of lightly dragging it down. Just light, 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 light. kind of coming, pulling that snow right up onto the tree there. Do it just a little bit over here. Okay. Let's see. I feel like I need, let's try this color out. I think that might be too dark. What I'm looking at is these darker areas. So always thinking about these light brights, try to imagine them not there right now, because those are going to be our last brights that we lay on top. So underneath, I'm seeing some dark yellows and some oranges, especially over in here. And they're warm. So I'm looking at a warmer temperature. And so I know that I'm going to layer my lightest lights on top of that. So just keep that in mind as why I'm pulling out this warmer yellow stick right now. This is again a soft pastel, very light, just light touch. Very, very light touch. I don't need a whole lot right now. And going back to like the question was talking about how do we fix a problem or a mess up? When we use really light touches, it makes it easier because we're not filling up the tooth, and it makes it to where we can actually come in and adjust things if we need to, way easier than if we press really hard, push it into the paper. It makes it a little harder trying to lift that. Now, this here in the painting is coming across like this. So I want to hold my stick and really emphasize that direction as I'm laying it on the paper. And then we see this goes down, right? It goes down because this right here is sticking up and creating a shadow. So, and that's actually a pretty important line right here. It directs our eye to the tree. So we do want to make sure we have that in here. And then we've got that where it kind of comes back into the tree. So, and that tells me I need to bring my tree down a little more. Okay. It kind of goes into a dip right there. It almost makes me think about when we did waves in our waves class where we were making the foam, how we were paying attention to those directional ways of laying our pastel down. This is something to think about. These. Okay. I'm gonna go into lighter blue here. One of the nice things about these square pastels is those hard edges. Kind of helps with that, those lines that we see that make those hard edges. So. Okay. That's a little too dark. No, I need more of a.
So this part is gold, you guys. This is what we were talking about. So Marie's like, she's trying out colors. She's like, she lays it down. Nope, wait, nope, that's not exactly the color I need. So I want you to pay it. This is like pure gold. This is process. This is somebody who's done this a long time and is troubleshooting along the way. So watch how she does that. Pay attention.
Also, one thing, don't spend too much time in one place. I find if I'm mucking around in areas, I'm like, I need to move away. And right now I'm feeling like I need to get my sky and kind of get into my trees. So I'm going to kind of let this go here. And it also helps with my values, really paying attention how the whole painting comes together. So I'm going to kind of move into some trees, get some foliage laid in and fill in some trees here. So cooler, we're thinking cooler green. I like this. We're going to try this out. It's going to be underneath. So I'm just going to lightly get a better edge here. See how my edge just like did a hard line there, and I really don't want that. It's fine, it's not going to hurt anything. So I come up here to my scratch paper and kind of get a better area. I'm just looking at these pieces here, very light.
Sorry, Marie, you probably haven't seen this yet, but Jessica said that the mass today is about leprosy.
Nuh-uh.
I didn't know we still talked about that stuff.
What?
Yes. She said this is a way better.
That is hilarious.
We should just have a little section of class called Where is Jessica Now?
Exactly. Exactly. I'm just drifting this green over my trees. I'm not worried about it. I'll come back in and add pieces. So it's always, you know, we're painting and then we're coming back in and then we're painting over it. So it's layers. Just like I have this light color here. As I add in the sky holes, that's going to pop. So I'm just kind of squinting my eyes, looking at the darker shapes. Very light touch. And I'm letting some of these colors, the orange kind of peek through. And then we've got kind of like a muted green down below in these bushes, almost even like a bright teal. We'll try this. I know, me and my bright colors. But if we throw some down in here, maybe kind of create like this little, I see this little tree here and I like it. I'm just going to kind of emphasize it a little more. One of the good things to keep your painting harmonious, if you use a stick, try to kind of add it a little where in other parts of your painting. This is, I'll take a picture of it for you. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to take a light green. I'm going to pop some in here. Just dragging it over a little bit. Let's see. I kind of need a, this is like a tan, which you kind of can't see, but we'll get that. Okay, let's get our sky in. I'm gonna go with a blue. See how this works. I'm kind of just using it almost like a drawing pencil, just lightly, short, quick drags to see if.
Is anybody surprised, by the way, how much color is in this picture? Are you surprised by the amount of color? Yes, Julia's like, yes, 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 this is crazy. So this is information for you about like how we start using color, how colorful things can be, and then like ultimately how things, you might mute back many of the colors. But there's a lot of color even in whites and darks. There are lots of colors.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's really fun. It's beautiful, Marie. Even at this stage, it's really beautiful.
Pressing a little harder, and pushing that.
Just
blue.
a reminder here that it's okay to just watch. I know some people like to launch ahead and then very often you miss something. So these demos are important. Marie is showing you, spend a few minutes just watching what she does before you try to attempt it. You guys will have time to work on this. She's trying to get it done fast so that she can help you with yours. Also, the video will be available. So you can go, it'll be up in like an hour after class. So that'll also be there so you can review it.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm just kind of popping blue in here, and then, like I said, we'll come back in and we'll carve a little bit more. Looking at the negative shapes. You know, I've got a tree kind of in the distance. I might add that in there, so I'm just kind of thinking about that. It helps kind of push things back. And then I decided, oh, I like this tree. So I'm thinking, oh, how am I gonna get that tree in there? And so I'm kind of like going around the edge a little bit with this blue.
Another thing I'm observing Marie is doing, and I want you guys to be clear on this, is when you're working on a landscape, there's lots of leaves, lots of trees, trunks, lots of grass, lots of snow, lots of shadows. Notice that she's not painting every one, but she's showing you the ones that are important. So that tree back there is important. How she's highlighting it is important. It's an important focus. There are lines that are important and lines that are not so important. So really pay attention when she's talking about that too, because there's a lot of gold in those. There's a lot of good information in those thoughts. Oh, that's looking beautiful, Marie. Very nice.
Yes, this is kind of like a muted purple almost, and I'm just kind of dragging it over. I'm leaving the underpainting. I like the underpainting showing through.
Yeah. When you're done, I think you should probably photograph this so they can see it in its full color glory.
Yeah.
And let them try it.
Yeah. And I'm not dragging this color necessarily all the way on every tree. What I'm trying to do is be cognizant of where they're sitting also in my painting. You know, we do want to try to push these back. So I'll come back in and kind of push some of these blues, but it is a process, like Leah said. You're just kind of slowly building color. I think I want to make this bigger. You know, and this is the determination. Do I have that tree just fall off the side of the page? I may. Not sure. We'll see about that, but let's get some more color into the trees. Let me take a picture and stop here.
That's right. Hold your horses. Whee!
Yep. And then please, I know this looks bright. It does. But then we're going to come back in and wash some colors
Woo!
over it.
That's insane. Listen, guys, one of the things we need to make really clear here is that Zoom doesn't allow you to see the colors that are really here. So the WhatsApp thread is really important because you need to see, I can see, actually, it's interesting to me, the people who are following along, your colors are all muted because you're following what you think you're seeing. So it is worth it to wait and see what the actual colors are, because they are much more dramatic than the way Zoom shows. And there's not much we can do about that right now. We're sort of troubleshooting ways. I'm having similar issues with my painting class.
Yeah.
Ooh,
well,
Mira, that's looking good. Janet, yes.
Let me see.
Oh, gorgeous.
I love it.
Ah, yeah. Lovely.
I love that pink and orange under it. I just think
it's so beautiful.
It is.
Great work. For those of you who took tree drawing yesterday.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
We're you know, these are trees. We're doing similar things that we're talking about in class in terms of simplifying. It's not about every leaf or every snowflake. It is about, or every trunk for that matter. It is about, or every whorl in the trunk. It's about like, what are the areas that we need to highlight to create some dynamism in this subject.
I love it.
Anya, I'm curious to see how the other side of the paper is going. Is it better?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is it?
Oh, not that much, but maybe just because I tried with the water, and I think with the water it doesn't go.
Oh,
so
no, you
well.
can't use water on that paper.
Yeah.
So you need to spray. So Anya, the truth is you should probably throw that paper out. I hate to say it. I just think it's not very good. I don't know if you saw Jessica's comments further down. I don't know why they sell it. It's fucking awful paper. Look at one of the papers, research the papers that Marie has given you, or maybe watercolor and gesso.
Yeah.
Right? Watercolor paper, which I know you can get your hands on in gesso. Yeah, that stuff is just awful. And they call it pastel. I've never used it. I've always just thought
me either, Leah. It's been sitting there forever, and I thought, well, let me try the clear gesso on it. At least I could use it that way.
Right. It's ridiculous. So anyway, don't worry
maybe
about
I'll
it.
just watch today.
Well, just try, do what you can, but but just be aware that like it's tricky to get the right things. That's why we're creating these lists, so that you guys can start to see some of the things that we're talking about. And the really deceptive thing is that that Mi-Tientis shit is sold all over the place. It's a terrible paper. I've never met a pastel artist that used it. I'd rather see you work with newsprint. Okay, if you work with newsprint like we did in charcoal, you're going to have better results. Just don't get water on it. Use a spray instead of newsprint. So anyway, that I know you've got because you did some charcoal stuff. Oh, Jean, very nice. Nice, Anya. It's coming along.
I kind of thought I was bringing our world and Jessica's world together by making my trees look leprous.
I love it. Oh, you guys, these are looking great.
So Anya,
this is so beautiful.
Anya, Jessica is saying, try the Mi-Tientis smooth side, but no, you can't use water on it. You have to use a spray.
Yep.
Right. That's one thing. So just be aware as you're applying these techniques that we're trying to talk about all the, yeah. Well, she could if she used a spray. She could if she used a spray.
Mm-hmm.
If she used a spray, Claudia. She could use that. She could use it. She just can't use water, and she can't use. I'm not sure why you put water on. Did you use water on your?
Mine?
Yeah.
No.
She's using rubbing alcohol on yours.
I usually use the alcohol.
Yeah. So
I put it instead of alcohol.
Yeah. Right. So Anya, don't substitute. Don't substitute. And also don't put it on that paper. You can only use a spray for that paper. So maybe the first thing I want you guys to do next week is to, if you've got any questions about what you're using and what you're supposed to use on it, ask Marie at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because then you don't get halfway through the class and, ruin your drawing. Yeah. You can never put water on pastels. It will destroy it'll just destroy everything. Alcohol actually dries and lifts up. That's why as a liquid, you can use it, but you can't use alcohol on very floppy paper. You can really only use it on paper that doesn't fold when you hold it out. So, so spray you can use, but you cannot never use water and never use alcohol. Or, use alcohol, never water. Okay. I think, it isn't. I agree, Jessica. It's not good for this class, but she could get away with it if she had. I still argue she could get away with it if she had a spray. But Mi-Tientis kinds of sucks. So I mean, like I said, I'd rather see you use newsprint and hairspray than anything else.
Yeah.
So all right. So we're going forward.
Yep. Good job, guys.
Really beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more into the trees, and then I'm just going to kind of go back and forth. grab my phone just in case. So I'm going to add a little more green. Yeah, let's see here. Let's see if this is the green I want. Kind of a warmer green. Still very light touch. And just in the areas where that sun is warming up that green, I'm going to leave some of that cooler green in there. Just a little bit. Just a little bit up in here. And I see it kind of glowing a little bit up in here. And do a little bit darker green. This is a dark green new pastel. I'm gonna get some branches in here. Just to kind of help. Now, this is where we can orchestrate where we want the viewer's eye also to go, right? I mean, we've got branches, but really looking at what branches are sticking out, what branches are angling to our focal point. I'm going to use some of that green down into my tree.
Better, sweetheart. What?
All right, I've got, see, a warmer. This is just, the sun's kind of hitting this edge, and so I'm doing a warmer reddish brown. And I might bring some in here. Because we know the sun is kind of hitting the sides of the trees in here. Even this one in the back. Okay. Let's go back with this. I need to.
Marie,
Yeah.
what is that tealy blue doing?
The cool green.
Yeah.
That's the shadow of the tree, the shadow of the branches.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then as we put the warmer, so it's pushing and pulling.
Okay.
Yep. This is just like a hard pastel green. Just kind of blending into that. Okay. Let's get into the snow over here. That sounds really pretty.
Wait, can you send another photo, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can anybody tell what Marie is not putting on? Like, what is she kind of avoiding? What are the areas where she's avoiding putting a lot of color? Can you see it?
Snowy patches?
The whitest parts.
Yeah.
The whitest parts. She's avoiding the whitest parts. So she's layering in colors and for the most part, letting the lightest parts kind of sit. So right now it's like a reverse painting. The lightest parts look darker because she's laying in the shadows first.
Yeah, it is kind of feels weird, I know.
God, is there nothing we can do? Marie, we're gonna practice a little bit. I'm wondering if there's different lighting we can put on this to make it look more
to help out.
Well, I mean, you've got to look at the color. It's just not remotely the same.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody's drawings, when they're putting them in, they're lighter.
Sure.
Yeah. Not that it's terrible. It's just.
It is.
It's frustrating. Anyway,
yeah,
you'll see.
Is.
I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
Do you have a box light shining on your easel or something?
Me?
Shining?
I don't have anything shining on it.
I wonder if that would. So.
I can shut my blind all the way. See if that works.
Let's try that.
Okay.
A little bit. Actually, it does improve it a little bit.
I can turn off this other light.
No, that doesn't. It's better.
I can turn off all the lights and see
what happens. Let's just see. It's better now. I'm looking at the original. I mean, it's still not as.
Hold on. Every time I move it like that, it doesn't like it.
It's better. Yeah, I wonder if we can get like one of those lights that's supposed to brighten.
Well, I do have that, but
it's not in a position to shine it right now.
Well, I could, but I don't know. I mean, I can unhook
Why
it
don't
here.
you try it for a second? Okay. We're going to go a little bit longer because we started a little bit late today. So we've got another half hour.
Sure.
So why don't, you guys take a picture so they have it. you guys catch up with Marie, and then
So
she and I are gonna play with the lighting for a little bit.
So here's a light. And
oh no, that's worse.
it has different colors.
Try
See?
that. Oh no, that's terrible. That's not bad. That one's not bad. That one's pretty good. It's better. And
then the other thing is, I wonder if
it's not
down on a table for everyone, like versus being up on an easel, if that would be.
You and I, but let's experiment with that later.
I can
That's it for your lighting. That's it for your lighting. Yeah, try playing. Well, actually, let's play.
I have the overhead. I have the overhead light too. That's off because I feel like sometimes that's. I can bring it.
Try that.
Forward.
I have had some success with really shifting my lights dramatically around. Of course, it totally depends on from day to day, from the time period.
Yeah.
But really changing my lighting. It is also, though, kind of Zoom suckiness. The one thing I don't like about Zoom.
Yeah. I don't know. It's always the trickiness, right?
Yeah.
We'll work on it, you guys, and get it to where it will be a little better for you. And I'm sure it has to do with lighting, Leah.
Yeah. So we'll spend a little time afterwards playing around with it so I can see. Maybe laying it down, but I don't know. I don't think that's it. The problem is if you have light directly on it, it gets too much white balance on it. Anyway.
Right. Yeah, that is the problem of it. And let's see. That's the wrong stick.
That was the pipe music for a second there. Lovely. Thank you.
Wow. Amazing. Okay. Just applying the dark blue, kind of pushing like the snow and the shadows up into the trees. Softening those edges. I'm going to do a shade lighter in the yellow and just kind of glaze it over. Clean it. I kind of press down and then I pull up. So we do have some hard edges. This is a hard edge. This is a hard edge, of course, the trees. And then we have the softer edges. These are soft edges. So just keeping that in mind, let your pastel blend into those soft edges. Kind of a purpley blue. And I'm going to come in with a light, almost like a light purpley blue. I'm just going to glaze over. I hear the doggies. Okay, I'm going to take a picture of this here. Now I've pushed the camera forward.
So Marie, I just sent a picture Can you explain why I get that like speckly? See the light blue in the snow where it's all speckly?
Yeah, that's the texture of your paper. Are you talking about where the light blue is over the orange?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you spray it?
No, I haven't sprayed anything. So if I want to avoid that speckly look, blending, what blending would be what I should do?
Yeah. So what you want to do is take your sticks and blend them with each other versus you moving it and blending it with your finger. So you can press a little bit harder. I like the underpainting showing through. You don't have to have all of it showing through. But if you want, if you like the smoother look, the best paper would be like a 500 grit or even like a 600 grit. So the higher you go up in the grit, it's going to be that softer, smoother sanded paper.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is great, Janet. What you're finding is what you prefer, and that's the whole point of this, is that you're learning how the paper works with your pastels. Now, pastel matte, I'll use that for certain types of landscapes. If I'm wanting maybe a more smoother look, maybe I don't want to do an alcohol wash, I find I go to that more. So it's just kind of also preference. You are also buckles sometimes. I know we talked about that. You can put it on a foam core. That helps with the buckling, and that might be an extra time or video that I can show you how to do that. You can mount your own paper and on foam core, and those are really nice too. So it's easier than taping it down and working with it. Just won't buckle as much. That looks good. I love it, you guys. It's looking really good. It's funny how I'm looking at mine on my screen, which is behind me, and it looks very different than right in front of me. It's interesting, like Leah was saying.
We're gonna play around and see if we can improve that. I have had some luck with moving lights around, making it a little bit better. It seems like there's a correction that happens in the Zoom camera once you have things, and once there's a certain kind of light. So we can't, it's not your device camera. It's like something to do with the light around. Hey, Sandra, if you want to, here's Hermes. He's saying hello. Here he is.
Aww.
Hi. He's like,
so cute. How's he doing?
You know, he's good. He thinks all this snow is crazy. He and Luca are like, oh my God, what the hell is happening out there? Right now he's kind of mellow, so he's just kind of laying here. Yes. You gonna swat me? Are you gonna swat me? Yeah. The never-ending entertainment.
Oh, I hear you.
Yes, dogs too.
Yeah, Colton and he wanted to build an igloo. No snowman, an igloo. Okay. So we were out busy building an igloo. Well, she wanted to eat everything. It was like almost impossible with her.
So guys, it's the hour. The class is technically ended now, but we're going to go another 10 or 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I'm just kind of adding a little bit of the darks here. I like the underpainting, but showing through now. If you don't, that's okay too.
What about that tree back there, Marie? The one that you outlined with blue. Are you going to do anything else with it, or just keep it as it is? The little one. The one in the center.
Right here.
Nope. Nope, the one that's in between, the little one. Yeah, right
Oh,
there.
oh, right in here.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have a stick pulled out for that. I was going to add it. No, it's too
Ouch.
dark.
Stop.
Let's see here. Was this it? Yeah.
No.
There's like a
Right.
little tree hiding in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
And then we have like that branch. I kind of want to pull some bright color on that tree. Going back to those branches. Maybe I'll add that guy in. Kind of like this branch coming across here. The snow on it. Take the edge of the pastel and run it right along there. Maybe might need a new pastel for that. A little snow on them. This is like a brighter tan color. I'll go back in here with this tree. And I really wanted a muted green, push it into the distance. I'm kind of thinking about.
Marie, can you photograph that now and send that over to them so they can see it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll have to move this back a little bit.
And then people have started sending stuff in. So take a look at Mira's. I think she could use a little work on her shadows.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so look at your edges, Mira. See the light and the dark?
Mm-hmm.
So come in with your darker shadow
Okay.
colors now and carve in and
Okay.
lay those down. It's gonna really define that better.
I'm
Okay.
seeing a lot of progress, Mira. You're pushing forward really fast. So don't, if you feel like we're doing a lot of correcting, it's not because you're doing badly. It's because we can see you kind of pushing your skills up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know if you're feeling it, but I can see it happening. Just wait
Thanks.
till what you do. You know, painting is a long game. Drawing and painting is a long game. You don't measure things in how well do I do after 2 hours. You measure things in how well do I do after 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20. You look at it in much longer scopes.
Exactly. And like I said, it's a push and pull, push and pull. So you're coming into the sky, and then you're coming back over with the trees, and then you're coming back into the sky. And so
and push and pull happens when you have strong contrast between your lights and your darks, when you're paying attention to your edges, where a light edge meets a dark edge. That is really what push and pull is about. That's what pulls us. When we say push and pull, we mean what brings you forward and back out, right? On this, what creates the illusion of depth on a flat surface. All we really have is shape and value, and then color, hue, and saturation. Let's see. Oh, Janet, nice. So Janet, your shadows look a little on the dark side, so I might pull them back now, maybe bring over. So those,
yes,
the tree shadows, particularly the ones in the back, are looking a little too soldier-like. You know,
yes.
like I am in rows, I am a soldier, I am in a pattern. So have them swing a little bit more to the left and lighten them a little bit. So you have good contrast, but maybe a little too much.
Well, and exactly. And then go back to your black and white, and that might help you too, your black and white picture, and just focus on these shapes. See these shapes here? So these are your darker valued, these are your lights. And just look at those shapes. Squint your eyes if you need to. That takes away the detail part of it and helps you see those shapes. Because I have to do it too. If you find yourself just going over an area and you don't, it's just not working, move to somewhere else. Always keep moving around. Because sometimes you need to get other elements, and then it will make sense. Then you can get it in there and say, oh, okay, this is making sense. Like right here, I know there's like this dip. I want that dip because that's telling me if I have a dip here, that creates a bank that's pushing up because it's darker and cooler. So I want that line in there. And so I want to push that contrast in the painting. And I may have to spray, which is fine. And you can do that to layer some more colors on top that won't necessarily blend too much. And I like that too. Matter of fact, I can do that and I'll show you. I feel like after this, I'll probably go into the trees a little bit more.
Claudia, nice.
Let me see.
That's gorgeous. I think she really got this. I think this one really, very
oh,
nice,
isn't that
sweetie.
Beautiful? Good
Yeah,
job.
nice. Really good job.
Yeah, I just love the trees too. They're so vibrant, and it just.
And her mark making. Claudia, I'm starting to see your mark making come out. Like, what
Yep.
is it that makes your work distinctly yours? Starting to come. It's because of your work. It's because you're working hard.
Yeah,
Boy.
well, and boy, that looks really good, you guys.
It really does.
I love Janet's snow on your tree, your branches
Oh,
too.
so great.
That is so cool. See how that
also-
pops? Oh, look at that, Jeannie. You did it too. I love it.
So
Okay.
Jean, watch out
Yeah.
for your little soldier stuff.
Yep.
You've spaced your trees out. Absolutely. So Jean, with you, it's always the drawing. I'm going to tell you this because I've known you for a long time and I'm going to be hard on you. You're
Actually,
drawing.
the drawing was good, but once I lost my drawing when I did the alcohol, and then
So-
I was trying to put it back in with the pastels, and it
But
didn't.
notice what happens when you get tired and you stop paying attention, you start creating these little soldiers right in a row. Look at your trees in the background. I should say there's so many gorgeous things about this painting. It's not that it's bad, but I want you to notice the trees are exactly the same size and they're right next to each other and the spaces are exactly the same. So you need to fix that. That will make this a perfect painting. Really, you lost. I could see this from your beginning drawing. You didn't have a wide enough space. Between that, so you should probably ditch
on the
one
left,
of those trees. Probably ditch that tree that's on the second to the left, and just go over with background. That will help.
Yeah, I think.
But there's beautiful mark making here. That's why I'm being hard on you, because I see you do this. Your drawing is where you stop. You get tired. So try to focus on the drawing. Try to say to yourself at the beginning of class, the drawing is where I need to focus because that's where I fall down. The color, you got it. It's the drawing that's that needs attention.
Yep.
We had a very interesting conversation about this yesterday in beginning drawing because I had two people who were in show business. And they were asking, like, is this how you, like, what about the people who just eyeball and are able to do this without measuring? And I said, this is what people do when they're eyeballing and measuring. It looks like they're making it look easy, but like painting and drawing, there's a tedious aspect to it. And I want to enforce that tedious aspect where you're looking at your shapes. You're continually checking your shapes. You're continually checking to make sure, okay, I don't have too much evenness in a nature, right? My spaces are in the correct places. Like it's tedious as hell. It's really tedious. I mean, it's worth it. As Jessica and I were saying yesterday, why do we even do it? We don't even know because there's so many tedious aspects to it. I think because you like the final product and because focusing on that tedium. So it's a little, when I say tedious, I mean, it's boring and it's hard work. Like you're kind of constantly having to check yourself. So notice where you fail. Notice, is it laying colors down? Is it understanding values? Or is it not getting my shapes right? Right? Like really pay attention to that.
Exactly.
Yeah, Natalia, you can lay your lights on top. Your lights will look beautiful on top. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and I just sprayed too, and that's okay.
Ooh, Janet, there you go.
Oh, that's really nice.
Nailed
there you
it,
go.
Janet. You got it.
Very nice.
I love that shadow, the tree shadow in the background that's kind of sloping down the hill.
Yep.
It's really gorgeous. Janet, the only thing I would pay attention to at this point is that front trunk on the right side where the trunk meets the snow. It's looking a little bit flat right now, so there's probably something edgewise you can do to push just the bottom of the trunk where the trunk meets the snow on the right side.
Yeah.
Those trees, they look a little too even. I think there should be a little, just do something to work on that edge. Oh, that's nice, Marie. See, and Marie added a little light bit there. Super nice.
Kind of just. I'm gonna go. Thank you.
Great work today.
Good.
It was fun. Thank you.
Claudia, it looks
great,
great,
everyone.
You did a great job. You did a wonderful job. You look tired. We wore you out.
Yeah. I was partying too much. Bye. Have a good week, you guys.
See you.
Bye.
Here, I'm going to remove the spotlight and let's put everybody in gallery view for a couple minutes. You can still work. There's still another 5 minutes or so. let's work for another 5 minutes, but
Yeah.
oh, it's looking good. Yeah, Marie, we'll play around with this after, if you can hang around after class for a couple minutes.
For sure.
Just
For
to
sure.
see it. I mean, like I said, I'm not sure how much the real problem is that every time of day, every time that sun moves, it changes the way the light is hitting.
Yeah. Yep. That's the tricky part.
It's the tricky part.
But we'll get it figured out.
Jessica, you going to send us what you're working on? Do you feel ready yet, or are we going to wait a little while before we can see it?
Okay, I'm going to talk because mass is over.
Yay.
And people are just hanging out. So number one, Jean, get down to the cathedral when class is over and come say hi and bring drawing stuff. That's number one. I will be here till closing. No doubt. I will be here till closing. And that
Is there anybody else in New York right now who could actually get there? I don't think we have any other New Yorkers on the call.
Oh yeah, if you're in the city, come down to the cathedral. I will be here till 5. They close promptly at 5, and I will be here till then in the same spot. I haven't moved, and I will not move.
Hannah, you're not in New York. You're in Toronto, right?
It's okay.
Right, I'm in Toronto. Sorry.
You're in Toronto, other city.
There we go. Here I am so far.
Oh, Jesus. Can you guys see that? Here, hold on, hold it up. I'm going to spotlight it. Hold on.
Wow.
It looks fantastic.
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, you're really, your work at St. Patrick's is really paying off, sweetie. This one and the last one are just totally looking beautiful.
Thank you.
So stunning.
Thank you.
Removing the spotlight, going back to gallery view.
This is difficult to tell. Is this mostly drawing, right? Or did you go straight to paint?
She's working with paint.
Straight from paint. Wow, it looks like a drawing.
She's drawing with paint.
Hmm? Not many
This is
people can
how
do that.
all of the, everybody can do that if you're a painter. You have to. You all have to. Everybody has to be able to do that. Jessica can do this because she's done it for like 30 years, like every day. Believe me, once you get to a point where you have been painting as long as she has, you'll be able to do it too. But that's 20 years from now. You know, that's like lots and lots of work.
I'll be ancient by then.
Yeah, and this is where the drawing feeds into the painting, because the drawing, right, classes, ultimately you're going to be drawing. Your drawing is influencing your painting, and very often the problems with the painting are not, well, sometimes they're color and value paintings, but very often they're drawing problems.
So and like Jeannie had just talked about, she felt like she lost a little bit after the underpainting. So that's why when we do our underpainting, we go back in and we establish our darks. And that's where we go back in and we look and we're redrawing essentially. So really look at where you're putting your trees. Maybe on the underpainting, it's not exact, right? So then we go back in there and we re-establish, because I had to do that too, Jeannie. I kind of lost where they're all kind of bunched together and you're trying to make sure you keep track, right? So practice, it's the same with waves. I usually use a pastel pencil and I'll go back in and reestablish where my wave is. And that's the same with all of these paintings when we do our underpainting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Having said that, Sandra,
it does look like pencil, doesn't it?
It looks like pencil. So now I'm trying to get now I'm trying to get the read on that. So pastel pencil. So she's still using pastel. She's not using a pencil, but she's using pencil-like subjects. So, all right, I retract that. I still think you're able to do, I still think people are able to do a lot with paint.
I'm sure they are. It just doesn't look like that.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Oh, Jessica's.
She's using pastel pencils.
It's beautiful.
Unlike yesterday's class where she was using paint, no pencil at all. So
yeah, you could tell yesterday it was straight to paint. Yeah.
Yes, that was beautiful. All right, good call. That's good, Sandra. It means you're really ooh, there we go. There you go, Jean. significantly better already. Nice,
Mm-hmm.
really nice fixes. There you go. I like that yours is kind of yellower and greener and less orangey ready. I like how your color scheme is a little bit different, Jean. I'm liking it. It's working.
Mm-hmm.
If you compare it to, say, Marie's or Linda, and then, oh, so Linda, soldiers, you have soldiers. Rid of those goddamn soldiers. Where are the soldiers? You have two little trees in the background that are exactly the same. They're like,
yeah.
If you could see the tops, they'd be boobs.
I was just gonna say they're the boobs.
One of those trees has to be careful with this, you guys. Be careful. This will ruin a beautiful pastel. That like is enough to wreck it, because all of a sudden you go from Linda's incredibly nuanced use of color, the blending.
Well, the blending and the snow, my goodness,
it's just
beautiful.
Gorgeous. And then it gets wrecked because my eye is like, why are the trees doing that? They shouldn't be doing that. Fix it. But beautiful.
I'll try.
And look at how different like Jean's colors are from Linda's.
Yeah.
They both work. Like values are still there. Still color choices probably based somewhat on preference and somewhat on what you have.
Yeah, I think that in my case, it's pretty much the quality of the pastel.
I don't know, Linda. I feel like you always have a sort of color preferences that you move to that are kind of beyond that. I think that your mark making really supports these colors. I think that Jean's kind of lighter, brighter, like the sort of chippy, chirpy mark making that Jean is using really fits the colors that she's using. I know that sounds nuts, but I think that's true. I think there is something to it. So yes, it is really fun, Hannah, right? So Hannah, you got that there's a list of supplies. Please reach out to Marie on the thread if you have questions about exactly what to buy. We're going to be teaching this class all year. So if you want to invest in some materials, and when they come to you, there'll be lots of chances to practice using them.
Good job, everyone.
Really great work.
Yeah. Keep plugging away.
Oh, Julia, beautiful. Very nice.
Oh, that looks gorgeous. I love the snow. Wow.
And I'm looking to see, and notice, so Julia, I noticed you moved your horizon line up higher. Was that an intentional decision, or did you just do that? Did you just do that with your sort of accidentally? My only worry about this is that horizon line might be just at the halfway point.
It's slightly lower.
Right.
I just got a really odd sized piece of paper.
Ah, I see. So it's a little bit longer. So anyway, what you see is more of the shadows in the front. Now, if you wanted to reduce that, you could just bring your horizon line down a little bit and, bring your trees and your backgrounds down. But look at what it does. It does create a different feel to the photo. Be very careful not to put your horizon line at the center or close, because that can really flatten a work. It's why we often place trees to the side instead of the center. The rule is kind of thirds generally, although you can obviously play with that depending on what you want to emphasize, but definitely avoid that halfway point. But I like how I really have a feeling of going downhill with yours. It's the shape of your, it's beautiful, beautiful. It's wonderful.
Oh, yes, it's gorgeous.
You guys are doing great. Okay, let's wrap it up. Go
Yeah,
ahead and hold your
was
pieces
good.
up so we can see. Turn on your camera if you don't have it. Mira, turn on your camera for a second. Let's just see. Let's take a look at what everybody has done kind of in the
Did
far
a terrible
away.
lion.
Oh no, it's a wonderful lion. Sandra, you're
I'm
way
not
too hard on
finished.
yourself.
Yeah,
You're
don't
way
be hard
too
on
hard.
yourself.
Oh, Janet, that turned out. Yes, everybody, wonderful. Oh, nice coverage, Natalia. You've already got it out there.
Beautiful.
God, you guys.
Good job, you guys.
Great work. Julia, gorgeous. Really gorgeous.
Wow. These are really
pros.
pretty.
They're
I
beautiful.
mean, they're really beautiful.
And notice, they don't all look the same. That's
No.
not the point.
The
point is to use the techniques to create something. It's fascinating actually how different they all look. Like, I think that's good. Like, there's
I
a
think
lot of
so
things
too.
about that. As long as we don't have any little soldiers, I'm not going to complain.
Get rid of the soldiers.
Get rid of the soldiers. Get rid of the boobs.
Yes. But you know what? This is what happens. I do it. I do it. So it's just a normal way of your brain.
Yes. And one other announcement, you guys. One of the things that's kind of exciting. Oh, hello, sweetie boy.
She Bubbles.
Hi, Bubbles.
Bubbles?
Yeah, Bubbles.
Oh.
She's got a very Bubbles personality. One of the things that we'll be adding in mid-March is a kids class, like a proper kids art class. Of course, we know that children are welcome to join any class, but that not all kids can take this. This is hard work, right? Like, it's not for every kid. So one of my old students is going to be offering a kids class for roughly ages 9 through 12. It is going to be at the same time on Sundays as this class. So maybe that will get in the way of things, or maybe you can get 2 different Zooms going in different rooms. Hello, Bubbles. Hello, Bubbles. But I will keep you posted when that goes. It'll be an hour-long class, and she's going to switch back and forth between like painting and then like crafty sculptural things that you can do with stuff around the house. So I think that'll be really great. I think that'll be a nice addition. Although, as you know, children are always welcome into these classes. If they can do it, they're welcome. But if you know people who have kids who might want their own thing, this is for them.
Yep.
Yep.
Very exciting.
Yay. All right, you guys. Great work today. Marie,
Good
you want
job.
to hang on?
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Great work,
Bye.
everybody.
Have a good day.
Nice to see you all.